Sup peeps, it is Haz, Nick and Jeff all assembled for the Purebred Reveals stream. Yeah, you can all be heard and they can all hear you. We've got one monitor in the chat on YouTube. There's Jeff, there's Nick. So while I just tweak a few things in the background, the two gents are going to work through the basic premise of Purebred. And there is the Purebred board. So Nick, Jeff, you take it away while I do a quick tweak. And just tell us what people are looking at with Purebred for those that don't know or need a reminder. Oh, we lost you. I'll just wing it on the fly. So yeah, I'm here. Okay. Yeah, that's right. There should be. Right, working on it. I've never had this problem before. Ah, yeah, I know why. Yeah, I figured it out. You nicely warmed up. Basically, on the no overlay stream, there wasn't any audio capture, so there you go. There should be audio now. Okay, give it 30 seconds. I've just copied and pasted some audio capture.
Jeff's icons highlighting and was,
it's live. I'm moving cards around.
Okay. Yeah, we've got image, but still no audio from.
Okay, this will give you audio. That should give you some audio. Let's try it now. And
so I'll talk a little bit here and see if maybe you can hear me.
Yeah, same. Oh, right, yeah, it's coming through now.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, good.
But
including me.
I will continue to work on getting that back properly in a second.
I was going to say, yeah, you've got the overlay going on and everything.
Yeah, I've got that going at least. So yes, but yeah, it should be.
I mean, you've got like a ships on the either side overlay going on.
Yeah, no, I'll get rid of that.
Yeah, okay. Okay,
Stay
off,
away from the edges for now.
off to a good start. Right. While Haz sorts that out, yeah, let's start that one again. And Jeff.
So we have audio now?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, sounds good. Well, welcome everyone to take 2 of our purebred fleet reveal and pairings flip. We're really excited. This event is our first ever faction pure event. Fleets don't have to be completely faction pure, but each ship individually does have to be faction pure. So we weren't quite sure what we'd get, whether people would submit entire pure fleets or more of a mix, and I think it's about 50-50. So there's actually a lot of variety and a lot of repetition. So it's going to be fun to see what the results of some of these games are. What did you think of the fleets, Nick?
From those I've seen so far, I'm loving it. Yeah, I think we've got about a mix of 50-50 faction, complete faction pure, and some ones that are not. But the ones that aren't faction pure are just really good fleets. And yeah, no, I'm really pleased with the numbers turnout that we've got. 16, fantastic number for us here at the Fremont Reparation.
Yeah, 16 is, I think, the highest number we've had in quite some time. There were some players who kind of came out of the woodwork who either have never competed in one of our events or maybe haven't competed in quite some time. And so it's quite possible that the faction pure aspect was appealing. I know there's some people who like the sort of simpler, purer game and don't get that excited about all the non-thematic cross-faction combos and everything, and just kind of like a Dominion fleet or a Klingon fleet or something like that. So I'm glad we can have an event for those sorts of people too.
Yeah, there are just some cards out there that that really lend themselves to other factions, but almost make it. I'm not going to say broken, but they can be quite off-putting maybe for your average gamer who just
That's
wants
right.
to play the purest version of the game.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Quark.
That's true. I don't think there's a single Quark in this event because nobody went Ferengi, I'm sad to say.
I speculated about that with Haz actually, that perhaps maybe the Ferengi have great cards like good captains and good crew, but the ships maybe were a little bit lacking in the maybe the offense
Right.
department, which might be a bit off-putting.
Yeah, you kind of need a faction that has everything. It has good cards, it has good captains, it has good upgrades, good ships, or it's just not going to work. Yeah.
Without spoiling too much, has one of the fleets that has originally looked into was an all Kazon fleet, and
Ooh, that would be fun.
with cloak and devices. It was crap.
It didn't go very well for him anyway.
I think I gave you a bit of a run for your money though.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. But yeah, I think there's I'd be surprised if we came across any Kazon pure lists when we're revealing them.
So the way the event's going to be run, it will be similar to recent events. It's a 3-round event with random pairings. So it doesn't matter what your won-loss record is, you will get to play all 3 rounds, and you'll be randomly assigned an opponent. It doesn't matter what their record is in the first 2 rounds. In the 3rd round, we'll try and match you up with someone with a similar won-loss record. And then at the end of the day, we'll see who has the best won-loss record, and if need be, we'll do a playoffs. With this large a field, we're probably going to have a few people, maybe by the end. I
suspect we'll see a playoffs this time, definitely.
Yeah. And so for the most part, it doesn't matter whether you win your game by a lot or a little. It's really just your win-loss record. But there's details about the tiebreaker on our Google Doc that talks about the scenario. Shall we get to it? Is there anything else? Is all the technical things, I hope, are
Yeah,
resolved?
I think we're good. So how this is going to play out is a player's card will be revealed. I'll then copy and paste the link into the built-in browser of the stream, and then we can cycle through it there. And obviously you'll have your own links at home, Jeff, Nick, myself, so you'll be able to see the list as well. But that way people can actually see the list in Utopia itself whilst the stream's going.
Perfect.
So what will happen is, if you know where old Doggo, where the card deck is at the moment, I've got a separate window just to the right there, underneath, parallel to the E. So if we reveal the cards near the lower regions of Mr. Archer and his pooch, that way it won't get hidden by the inbuilt browser. There we go.
So the bottom of the picture, bottom half of the picture.
Yeah, about here in this region. Lovely. Okay.
So straight down.
Yeah.
And has those are the public links, like in the ones I messaged you. No, they don't show hidden cards.
Ah, yeah, brilliant. Public links only. Yep, no problem.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right. Well, as I said, there's 16 players, so we're going to have 8 different matchups we'll go through. I'll go ahead and shuffle these up, and we will see our first pairing here. The very first fleet to talk about is TJ.
TJ, let's pop TJ's deets in. So TJ, that is yes, our mirror Tristan, because obviously we have a prime Tristan and a mirror Tristan, and that list is now up on the browser for everyone's viewing pleasure. Bingo, there we go. So let's interact with this bad boy. Okay. So yeah, it's up on the stream now. Nick, did you want to carry this away?
Go on, I'll give this one a go. So we've got Tristan running a almost faction pure Klingon fleet. Starting off with a lovely generic Vorcha class with the core, Dahar Master, Drex, Torpedo Fusillade, and Worf. I absolutely love that. I think that's absolutely devastating. We all know what Torpedo Fusillade can do, with Worf converting blanks and Drex converting all battle stations. That's just going to be a lot of hits on a lot of people, all in one attack. Not to mention, we've got Ducat's Bird of Prey with Kang and Dahar Master again. We know what Ducat's Bird of Prey can do. He's getting extra actions at the combat phase, or extra tokens, should I say. And he's also got the Koskari, very powerful Burrell class, with Koloff and a Dahar Master as well. A generic Burrell class with Gowron. So his action is that all other friendly Klingon ships within range 1 to 2 gain +1 attack dice. So he's giving even more attack dice to some already pretty powerful ships. And a Romulan science vessel with Denatra, giving another attack dice. And an interface generator, just in case someone's feeling a little bit lucky and trying to pick off the Romulan science vessel early. So that's probably 2 extra attack dice for all the attacks on 3 very powerful Klingon ships right there.
It's quite a nice number of ships chucked into that 120, isn't there?
It really is.
So you've got your flagship with the Vorcha, and then you've got all your little support ships, keeping it simple. Yeah, very tasty.
Yeah. That Torpedo Fusillade, that's going to be... It is a one-use only, but it is a... You know what I've done to you with Torpedo Fusillade, Has.
No,
we won't say any more than that.
It never happened. There were no survivors to tell the tale.
Only rumors.
Yeah.
So so good luck there, TJ. That's a fantastic build.
Okay, and TJ's opponent is...
Oh no!
Oh yes, I get to talk about this scrub. Right then, so
No, not good luck, TJ.
Oops. Sorry about that.
So here we go. So Nick, some guy that happens to be on the stream, has got into this like Dominion phase, for a guy that used to enjoy a bit of his Klingons and his Feds, and he's just gone Dominion pure. So he's chucking out another another nice 5-ship build versus a 5-ship build. The Prelock, the Keldon class, very simple looking list, not too many upgrades floating around, but you'll see it all synergizes really nicely. So the Prelock, all friendly Dominion ships with 1 attack dice, so it's just a nice support vessel in that respect. And then Gold Turan, doubling down on that, increasing the offense. So that ship, if you're in that range 1 bubble, is chucking 2 attack dice for each ship around it, and each ship around it is getting those 2 attack dice. Sorry, which is going to be huge considering you've got a Galore class, so that'll be getting 6 attack dice thanks to the Keldon. And then you've got all other friendly Dominion ships, range 1 to 2, may perform an action on their bar as a free action. So again, doubling down on that support. So now you've got the offensive support, and you've got the potential battle station support in there, or target lock, to help maximize on those extra dice. Goldamar supporting the Jem'Hadar attack ships, which we'll see very shortly, making them even harder to be killed. 4th Wing Patrol Ship. Now, you don't often see bugs on the board, so Nick's brought 3 of them. And again, they're all synergizing together. You've got Golmaset on the 4th Wing ship, who's going to add an extra attack die. So this ship will, provided he gets all his gimmicks off, that's 6 attack dice. And then whenever this ship does a target lock, a friendly attack ship at range 1 gets to perform a target lock as another action. So there's just 3 actions, left, right, and centre, being chucked around. One thing Nick's very proud of is the phased Polaron beams that he'll have in plentiful supply. Range 1 to 2 weapon. They'll all benefit from the gimmicks. It's got an built conversion, and it ignores shields, which fortunately for TJ, he'll be cloaked, but there are lists that will potentially be a bit concerned with that. 6-Wing Patrol Ship. You got the newer version of Golden Cat. It would be good to see someone get that off for a change by spending an evade and a scan to increase the amount of hits per battle stations. And this ship rolls +1 attack die if there's another Jem'Hadar attack ship in range. So you can see the theme quite clearly there. And then just like a generic 5th Ring Patrol Ship with phased Polaron. This fleet's all about supporting each other, chucking huge amounts of red dice out, and still having something left over for decent defense. So if you're going up against Nick's fleet, you've got to try and separate that, because there's not a lot of ships also that will survive offense in that nature. Pretty horrific to come up against. So you're going to have a bloodbath in this match, if I'm quite honest. It's all about offense, and the cloak versus the action economy. That'll be very fascinating, as Mr. Spook would say. If you're a betting man, Jeff.
Well, that's a lot of nice fusillade targets there, I will say.
Yeah.
5 different ships to be hit by 1 fusillade. So yeah.
Don't I know
It'll
it?
be interesting to see if Nick stays together or splits apart. And on the other hand, those phased Polarons, like you said, are not as devastating as they might be, because you're just going for the hole anyway against the cloak Klingons. So that will be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty brutal. I like that. Very nice. That's Nick versus TJ.
All right, I'll move those cards out of the way. I'm going to flip both sides of the matchup so that if it's Haz, we make sure that Haz is not talking about his own fleet. So we have Dan, another Dominion fleet, against Scott.
Okay, let's update that. Here we go. So Dan W is feeding through now on the browser.
Okay.
Here we go.
I'll field Dan's fellow Dominion fleet. So we have Dan running actually a list very close to my heart. It's got quite a lot in there that I was tempted by myself, to be fair. Pre-lock, giving extra attack dice out, as we've seen. Goldie Cut, giving him an extra action of battle stations or an evade. So it's going to have some good action economy in there. Legion Crew module to give him extra crew slots. Goldamar, which is increasing his captain skill and allowing him to help other ships with their attacks. Gold Broker, Shroud, and Bohica. which is just Godbroker is a discard, and Shroud lets him bring it back. So Prelock's just pretty good on its own. It's going to be chucking out at least 5 attack dice with good action economy. And then we have the first wave attack fighters. I really wanted to run some fighters, but I just didn't get around to it in the end. But I absolutely love the first wave attack fighters with the 5 tokens and the Galore class phaser banks. Speaking from recent experience using those, they're very good. You basically have 6 attack dice for at least 2 lots of tokens, and the minimum amount you're going to be chucking out at any time is going to be 4 attack dice. So those fighters are always going to be a nuisance, and having the range 1 to 3 as a fighter is just crucial. It also comes with aft disruptor wave cannons, which allows him to actually fire out of his rear arc, just making him even more deadly and devastating, and a flanking attack just to round it off as an expensive but very deadly first wave attack fighter. And then finally the Traeger, another Galore.
Hey!
Yes, we saw the Traeger a few times during the most recent Booster Shots tournament and did well in all of its matches. He's also running Gul'Taran, my personal favourite captain, and Obsidian Order, Type 3 Galore class, which just boosts his shields, Tactical Command Reticle for extra dice, Aft Weapons Array, he's got no blind spot now, Phase Disruptor Array, and Talak Talan. Basically, it's just a really, really good list. He can fly all 3 of those ships separately if he needs to. I know he wants to keep pre-locked with them, but he can fly them separately, and they'll be just as devastating. So, yeah, really like that list.
Cool. I'll just load up Scott's. Here we go. So, Scott, what have you got? Well, there's an appearance from the elusive Albino on board the IKS Koskari. It's one of those horrible ships where it's got the ability and you hate it because it takes tokens away from you, which some people, like the Feds, love their tokens. Klingons not so much because they got their Drex and their versions of Drex. But yeah, so the Albino, one you don't see very often, so let's have a read of that. When attacking a Klingon ship or a ship with a Klingon captain equipped to it, roll +1 attack die. So now you've got a 5 dice per roll. When attacking once per game, if this attack hits, discard 1 crew equipped to the defending ship. That can be a nuisance if you've got a nice synergy going. And then activation phase, once per game, this ship may activate last, I believe that says. So, which even though a captain skill of 9, still pretty decent. So, and I think he's playing into the independent element of it as well, which is what the Albino brings. There's a lot of text here. Fire, when attacking your primary during the roll attack, you may discard the card to gain +2 attack dice. So that's pretty huge on of itself, especially against the Klingon fleets we've got coming up. If you do so during the modified attack dice, you may reroll up to 2 of your attack dice and then place an orcs beside your ships. That's a pretty decent card to have, actually. 6 points, but 2 attack dice and 2 rerolls. Nice. All powered phasers, buffing that offense yet again. Meridorn Gornail, buffing that offense yet again. There's so many offense dice options coming in here. Verteron Pulse Trap to be a nuisance for his opponent at the start of the game. Gorn Troopers ×2 to give him those captain skill buffs and passive rerolls as and when needed. So the offense on this is going to be consistent and pretty damaging. And then you've got, he's got the Gressel, I'll just skip that, that's just typical Scott. So going back to the Gressel, actually, there's a reason Scott chooses this ship, and it's a fine platform for what it does. The ability to disable a shield, to cancel a hit or a crit. Car, fantastic independent captain with some reroll of a reroll, and it's 2 talent slots which open up lone hunt. So this ship's going to be flying separately. It's going to be chucking out 5 dice consistently. Slap that with some Gorn sensors and a disruptive bombardment. You got yourselves a pretty efficient spread of shots on each ship within that little bubble. Enhanced durability, just to keep it going. Extra shields for that extra ship ability. Milana Torres, lovely card. 1 point card, fantastic card that is. Reroll a blank, and if you're attacking a Dominion ship, which we've got a few Dominion fleets, convert a blank to a hit. Then lastly, non-threatening Beta Hirogen, who will add a captain skill, so cards are now a 9, matching the albino, and also the scan action will be increasing the token count to get rid of 2 defense dice. With the rerolls he's got going on, the battle stations isn't such a big thing, whereas having that extra scan, especially against cloaked ships with their green dice reliance, that's a big deal. How much is that clocked in at? A modest 42 points as well. And then we've got the Muratas, which I'd like to say this has probably come to a bit more prominence thanks to, once again, the booster shots tourney and episodic madness. We saw a ship build there which made it quite a threat. So when attacking during the modifier, you may disable one of your shields to reroll up to 2 of your attack dice. Chuck that with particle beam weapon, and then Degra. You're just chucking a huge number of attack dice out. Aquatic Counselor is a nice versatile card. Here we go. Oh God, I hope you got the resolution. I haven't got. Pulse firing particle cannon. To save this card to perform this attack, you may only fire this from your forward arc. If it hits, you may immediately make a second attack with this weapon against the same target at -1 attack die. The target ships roll 1 less defense die against the second attack. So nice double tap there. That's pretty important considering he's got these extra gimmicks going on with Degra. And then Thermal Chamber is another card you just don't see very many Cindy upgrades anyway. Remove all disabled tokens from your Cindy crew upgrades and add +4 to your captain skill. That's going to be quite important because that's going to bring Degra up to the same captain skill as the rest of his fleets. They're all firing consistently and a decently high captain skill. So again, it's all about offense. This is typically how Attack Marine runs. Really, it's more of an offensive game, making sure that when you get in there, you do a lot of damage. And Scott, the current world's champion, has doubled down on that with his trusty Gressel. And he's got a little bit more flexibility in the angles he can come in with, because we've seen quite a lot of fleets with numbers so far. 2 fleets have got quite big numbers, more focus on working together, whereas Scots can easily work independently from each ship, and one is actually designed to do that. So yes, lots of offense on this end, but the fighters of Dan's list, we've seen fighters are a huge deal, so I can bring the balance back, if you will. So that should be quite an interesting game. I think Scott's got to get his angles right to make the most of that. Anyone for anything?
Yeah, it's worth noting the Bolana. Bolana's particularly nice in this matchup because it's all Dominion on the other side.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
So that crest rail gets even more powerful. Got to stay away from that ship somehow. Not quite sure how.
I suppose when you look at it, 4 fleets we've drawn so far, which makes Scott's list even more effective against 2 of them so far. So,
right. All right, on to the next matchup. Shuffle it up again, and we get Eric against Jerry.
Oh, you legend! I love it when someone brings up the classic Connie lists. Love it.
Beautiful saucers.
I will talk about Eric, so you can definitely talk about Jerry's.
All right then, go for it.
Okay, we've got Eric running Kempex attack cruiser. So we've got another all Klingon build here, with 3 Dahar Masters, Kang, Koloff, and Kor. So Koloff is on Kempex attack cruiser. Vorchers are they're pretty nice actually, because they've got decent dial. They've got the hard turns. They've got 5 hull, good amount of attack dice. So Vorcher's a pretty good chassis, to be fair. And he's just running the standard for a Klingon Dahar list. You have to have Klingon cloaking device in there. It's just too good not to. And we've got Koth and Klingon Gunner on Kempex as well. The Negvar, always love a Negvar, running the animated core, which is always very powerful. Place 2 time tokens on, and you don't decloak, and you get to roll an extra attack dice. And if it's on a Klingon ship, you even get to add an extra hit on top as well. Once again, Dahar Master, Klingon cloaking device, torpedo fusillade with Worf and Drex.
Oh,
I've already been through this today. That is just an absolute deadly ship there. Lots of attack dice with attacking multiple ships, all conversions. It's all hits, and it's just nasty ship. And the IKS Par, which is a Kavort class with Kang as the captain. Dahar Klingon cloaking device, disruptor cannon. Disable this card and target an opposing ship in your rear arc at range 1 to 2. If the defending ship has a auxiliary power token beside it, your ship rolls 1 extra attack dice. So it just gives him a rear arc on the par, makes him far more flexible with his maneuvering. And Mara, the add a scan action to your action bar, and if you were to, the reason it's on there is Kang is a discard to add 2 extra crits during attacking, but Mara saves Kang for one extra go. There's not much else to say about that list. It's a very powerful Klingon list. It's got all the staples it needs. It's got the Dahar Masters. It's got the Klingon cloaking device. It's got torpedo fusillade, Drex, Worf. It's very, very powerful. So I think Jerry's going to have to pull out a really good game against this one. So what have you got over there then, Haz?
loading. Right, so Jerry, you got the classic USS Enterprise in the original Connie. This one's the may perform actions on its action bar when it's got an Orcs, which is decent. You can not keep full reversing all day, but those reds don't bother you so much. You've got animated James Kirk, a really nice captain. I like him back in my heyday. You get to perform battle station scan, and then the action of another crew. And who's he doubled down on for that? Hikaru Sulu. So he's increasing the agility and the modification for that. He's got Chekhov to basically open up that dial to remove Orcs. And then Mr. Spoke, if you have a scan, you may convert your battle stations to hits. So you can see the synergy there. Mr. Kirk, scan, trigger Sulu, and then Spock for the battle stations to hits. Arsenal, full power phaser barrage. Dorsal phaser array for the blind spot. For those that haven't seen full power phaser barrage, it's quite a texty one, but basically you do your initial dice. If it's from a Connie, you roll +2 dice, and then during the deal damage, if at least there's 2 uncancelled hits or crits, then you get to roll 3 additional attack dice. They can't be modified, I think, and then they get added. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, because it's after the dice modification stuff, isn't it?
And that also means that you got rule of 3 for that +2, and then the 3 more. It's 2 separate things. So you do get the +2 dice, and then the 3 extra dice.
So
nice.
And then Arsenal obviously helps with the time tokens of it. So that's a nice Enterprise build. 48 points, but it all just works consistently, so I like that. And then that's backed up by the Vulcan crewed USS Intrepid. Well, in lore anyway, but today Christopher Pike has taken the helm to reduce the cost of all his crew attached to the ship. It's a great support ship in of its own self. You take an Orcs, it's a free action. Take an Orcs, target a friendly ship, and then give them a scan and evade to yourself, add them. Excuse me. You got Genesis effect with a hidden crew. Ooh. Dorsal phaser for the blind spot. Scotty to add an additional slot of his choice, which he's put. What has he done? At any time you made a symbol. Oh, it's not needed the extra slot. He just wants Scotty's ability You may disable this card to remove an orcs beside your ship, which plays into the free action.
He's
And
got
then,
Captain Skill Riker.
yeah, Captain Skill Riker is decent because he also mitigates a certain couple of crits.
Yeah.
So, not a bad shout with Captain Skill Riker.
That ship can also give a second scan to the Enterprise so that he can do the double attack and benefit from Spock each time too.
There we go then.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not a double attack, is it? I was thinking that's the other one. I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. But he still can't give a second skin to Spock.
But you know, if he does, Spock will get that modification, and then the other scan token will get rid of that green die. What else we got? And then you've got the USS Defiant Constitution class. When attacking, if your ship is not in the target ship's forward firing arc, during the modifier, you may reroll all of your blanks. So if you get that awful blank out result, then you've got a way out of that. Robert April, a captain you really do not see, so he's gracing the board. He comes with the animated faction pack for those that are curious. If he's equipped to a Connie, add +1 to his skill. Is he 7 naturally? Does his memory serve right? Oh, there you go. I've got the printed.
He's 8.
8. There you go. So Maxwell Forrest and Robert's ability is buffing him up to 10. Action: target a crew equipped to the ship. Move all the time tokens from this target crew to this card, the captain. If that crew has an action, you may perform that action as a free action. So the next question is, who's he playing into with that? He's only got Tom Paris. It's probably the captain skill he's going for, maybe.
Yeah.
So
that would be my guess.
Yeah. So Maxwell Forrest got a fantastic ability, being able to move, then move again. Type 8 phaser and upgrade phasers. He's chucking out 5 dice. And then Tom Paris for just a little extra agility. He's got in his time traveling machine, or transwarped his little shuttle before he lizarded, and happened to be in that moment on that ship. What a story to tell.
Jerry also went with the 3 captains of the original Enterprise, so sort of a thematic build as well here. Kirk, Pike, and I think April was even before Pike. I'm not sure. I'm not. You don't see April too much in the episodes, but there was an animated one about him.
3 captains. Very nice. Got a nice classic Klingon versus Fed list there, really, haven't you? I think Jerry's requires a little bit more finesse to pull off, but he's got a lot of consistency with it. And Eric's got some pretty horrible offense to chuck out. So it's going to be a tough game for Jerry there, but he's got the power of the Connie's spirit to keep him in. Happy days.
Truly Fed versus Klingon, so that's nice to... As thematic as it gets in Star Trek there. All right, our next battle here will give us Jed against Haz.
Oh, no. What abomination have you come up with here, Jed? What on earth? I heard about this and...
Oh, no.
I wanted to talk about Jed's list, but I have to talk about Haz's now.
Why don't you just talk about both? Go on.
Yeah, I can talk about Haz's.
Yeah.
Oh, go on then. Yeah, I wanted to talk about Jed's list.
Go for it.
Yeah, the second I saw Jed's list, I was just... I just thought it's my personal favourite list that I've seen so far. I've never seen a DS9 on the board. Really looking forward to seeing a DS9 on the board.
You can't see it in the thumbnail.
No, exactly. No, it's perfect. Jed just being difficult as usual. So we've got a Type 7 shuttlecraft, the Sarkov, which is at the start of the game during the Gather Forces step, you can purchase 1 additional crew or tech upgrade for -2 SP. So it basically allows him to load up the shuttlecraft with things. We all know that the shuttlecraft is going to be unloading onto Deep Space Nine just to boost its abilities. We have the captain, Tim Waters, and Vorik, which is a fantastic card, speaking as someone who used it recently. Transporter, Julian Bashir, and Emrys. So three of those cards, Tim Waters, Julian Bashir, and Emrys, work on just like taking tokens away and benefiting from tokens being taken away. We have Deep Space Nine, the variant that allows him to roll 2 additional defense dice by disabling a shield. Not the version that allows him to not disable torpedoes, but there is reasons behind that. Jean-Luc Picard, allowing him to save on some points there. Genesis Effect with a hidden card. Photon torpedoes that are going to be chucking out at least 6 dice with conversions, and another hidden card under Leonard McCoy. And just because he doesn't want to be completely static in this game, he's got a Borg Sphere, which is not too shabby, to be fair, with a Borg Queen, technological analysis, and 4 of 12 running around the board, basically just being a nuisance and supporting anyone who goes straight for DS9, basically. It's fantastic. It's so different to anything else that we see, and I can't wait to see that game.
All right, and the opponent is Haz. So let me bring up Haz's fleet. Haz has gone with a rather distinctive build here. 4 different Gorn ships, so he's going independent pure. All of them with disruptor bombardment. Gorn troopers all over the place. That will be interesting because he can kind of converge on DS9, who's not the fastest of ships, to be honest. And Jed may have to be resorting to that ship ability to roll extra defense dice a lot at the start. But so Haz appears to have set himself some extra constraints here, trying to go as many Gorn cards as possible. So not just independent, but Gorn pure for the most part.
Yep.
The Gressrail, of course, is the strongest ship with that great defensive ability. He's got improved deflector screens. That's a devastating combo to just take 2 of the hits right away from the dice. So really hard to tear down that ship. Gorn troopers to give it a little higher captain skill, up to 7, and then 3 more Gorn ships. The Gorn commander with Lone Hunt, and 2 Gorn captains, and also included in there I see Lure. So that'll be an interesting little treat to throw somebody's way when it's time to divert their maneuver somewhere, or even to spoil someone's initial shuttlecraft maneuvers, although that can be tricky. But sometimes that might force the person to set up their shuttle an unusual way, just because you can't use Lure to send someone off the board, and if you use Lure to send someone into a ship, they can disregard it. So nice little annoying card there for 5 points to briefly break the Gorn pure build. But all told, and also definitely worth mentioning, all 4 of the Gorn ships have disruptor bombardment, and I think all 4 of the Gorn ships have the other 3 have Gorn sensors, which is this strange tech that gives you an extra die basically on your bombardment, because you place the token and the token is attacking something within range 1, and so that actually lets you roll an extra die. So this is something we've never seen before. We've never seen 4 Gorn ships, each of them attacking everyone in range. So it'll be interesting to see whether Jed spreads out or not, because if he doesn't, he is definitely going to face the wrath of the Gorn. So I don't know what to say about this matchup, but it's one not to miss. I'll say that much.
Definitely.
I'm going to say it's not exactly a target-rich environment, but DS9's taken up nearly a quarter of it. It's not going to be hard to miss that.
Yeah, that's true. If the shuttlecraft gets off the board, then there's only 2 ships out there. So
I have to ask a quick question. Deep Space Nine, does it deploy at the edge of the board as standard? Is that what happens?
Yeah, just like the oversized board cube, you're actually too big to completely fit in your start area. So you're obligated to be up against the edge of your start area, but you can poke out into the rest of the board as long as you're up against your edge.
Perfect.
And in terms of
Alright.
DS9's weapon profile, what weapon? Because obviously it's a circular base for starters, something you don't see very often. What kind of weapon arcs are we looking at there? And like primary, is it range 1 to 2, 360? Torpedoes are strictly coming out the pylons. What have you seen there, Jeff?
Okay. I'm not really a DS9 expert, but I do see that it does have a forward arc on DS9, and so it is going to be able to use those torpedoes. So I think maybe there's some of those Nor class that do have 360. Oh no, I guess one
I
of
think
them
it's got
has
3
the
arcs,
ability. Yeah, I
from
don't
what I
actually
can
know.
see. Well,
we may have to do a little research into that one.
we'll find out.
But
Fair
good.
enough.
Thank you to both of you for bringing distinctive fleets, and I'm glad that you can be beating up each other. Is not one to miss, like I said.
Definitely.
There you go. For those at home, we'll bring the model out just to show how big it is.
Hey, nice.
And you get to, if you guys want to toy with it, you can see the arcs and the 360 element of it there.
Yeah, I think it's got 3 different arcs. So, and its movement is more based on rotation. It can move slightly forwards, but there's going to be a lot of rotation about it. So it's about rotating and getting that arc, I think.
You get a nice 360 shot for you there. Fortunately, it doesn't have evade, so I've got that going for me, I guess.
Why? Why doesn't it evade?
I tell you what, I was thinking about the manoeuvring thrusters of DS9 the other day, when they're getting pulled into something, aren't they? What was it again? I forget. Who knows? Right then, so.
All right. Match number 5 will give us Rob S. I see more Klingons on the board there against Tristan. Ooh. A lot of Klingons.
Yeah.
So the question really is, who's going to be able to cling on?
So I'm quite happy to talk about Rob S's list. It's another one I was rather fond of, if I'm honest, just because, as I mentioned earlier, very, very fond of the Negvar class, and Rob S is sporting 3 of them. So an all Negvar list, we have the usual Dahar Masters, Kor, Kang, and Koloth. We have 3 Klingon cloaking devices. The Negvar with Kor on is running a torpedo fusillade, absolutely deadly, with Worf and Drex, which is just all hits. So just super powerful. The second Negvar with Kang is running Angaran, which is basically Drex again, and Torel. So slightly less effective, but still extremely powerful. And then finally, the final Negvar Koloth with Klingon Gunner. During the modify attack dice step, discard, and add a hit. So it's the weakest of the 3, but also they're all just incredibly powerful ships. They've got 6 hull to chew through. They're going to be cloaked. They're going to be chucking out a lot of red dice, and certainly that torpedo fusillade when that gets off. We've got quite a few torpedo fusillades in this tournament so far, and if people weren't familiar with it before, they certainly will be by the end of this tournament.
I'd say one thing I've learned is when I played TJ in Episonic Madness, he brought a Klingon ship which focused more on defense. Couldn't touch the thing. Really couldn't touch the thing. So Klingon cloaking device, massively underrated.
Very good. It's very good. So Tristan then.
Okay, let's load Tristan in. And Tristan is loaded up. So, Tristan, pack in. Oh, it's taking a little while to load in. There we go. So here we go. The IKS Fawn, a simple but effective ship ability when cloaked. So I'm expecting to have built around this cloak element of it. Range 1, you get 2 attack dice. Range 2, you get +1 attack dice. So very simple, effective, but that goes from a 4 to a 5 or a 6 very easily. You've got a different version of core you don't see often. Add an extra crew slot. Each time you attack during the modifier, you may select a number of attack dice up to the number of non-disabled crew assigned to your ship and re-roll those dice. Playing into that offense gimmick again. You've got Wharf for the blanks. Just, Wharf. Very nice Klingon card. That Klingon cloaking device. Very popular in this particular tournament. Daha Master. Probably one of the best points costed cards in the Klingon Armada. Drex. So this thing is not going to miss. Why did you? You're not even going to need cores rerolls because Drex and Worf are just going to be like bro high fiving each other every time they shoot for the honor. And then Goroth, one you don't see often. Action: discard this card and discard 1 crew and target the opposing ship. Disable the captain equipped to the target. Equipped to the target ship. Maybe it's for the rerolls. Maybe it's just as it says he's going to mess around with someone's captain. Such as them
he
not
adds
being...
a slot. He adds a crew slot, so it's basically 1 extra free crew for that core ability, I think.
Yeah, and then Grilka's just there to help trigger off Goroth's ability. And then Disrupt a Blast. You may make this attack twice against the defending ship, and obviously the Vaughn's ability is going to stack into that. So happy days with that. Sadly, it's not a D7, but it will do. IKS Klophos, a D7, funnily enough, with Koloff, sorry, not Koloff. It's just going to be zipping around everywhere. Again, another great ship ability when cloaked. It rolls 1 extra attack die. And then also when attacking, if this ship is not within the primary arc of the defending ship, convert battle stations to a hit. No, I'm fine for
It's
that.
like Drex.
Yeah, it's just like Drex. So really nice. And then you've got Gowron as the Admiral, adding additional action in there. Daha Masters classically. Klingon Cloaking Device. There you go, Disrupt a Blast. So this is going to be kicking out some dice. And then Kalana to keep Disrupt a Blast re-enabled very quickly. And then here's a card you don't see often. DNA Encoded Message. Set up, place 3 Klingon talent upgrades face down beneath this card. Activation phase, discard this card. Flip one of those Klingon talent cards face up and equip it to the captain equipped to the ship, even if it exceeds the ship's restrictions. Remove the other 2 cards from the game. So very nice, those kind of cards. I think they're underrated. You can have a card for each specific occasion. I might need a bit more support for the rest of the fleet in this. Let's have this card. I might want more offense, or I might just want to mess around with my opponent. Your opponent's not going to know what they're running into, and that could be massive.
Good for tournament play.
Yeah, definitely. Very versatile as well, being able to choose from 3 cards. And then you might not even have to play them at all, so you keep that element of surprise. And then here we go, Descartes' Bird of Prey, rears its ugly head. Again, fantastic ship, fantastic platform. When cloaked, you can either have a battle stations scan or evade, or increase your captain skill by 3. You got Kang the Conqueror. At the start of the game, target a captain equipped to an opposing ship, and then when attacking, if the target captain is on the defending ship, discard this card and add 2 crits. Always nice if you want to overwhelm your opponent. Daha Masters a Klingon cloaking device naturally. Disrupt a cannon out the rear. What ship is it on? It's on a Bird of Prey. Not that matters, I'm thinking Waylay. Kolos, if the captain equipped to the ship would be discarded, so you're refreshing your Kang for those extra crits if that enemy ship lasts long enough. Ambassador Cord to mess with your opponent's opening maneuvers, or to see their maneuvers throughout the whole game, provided until they get damaged. And then lastly, Mara to give you a scan action, and again to just keep Kang in there. So Kang tries to leave the bridge 2 times. Mara and Kolos will be like, nah bruv, you can't do that. Get back in that chair, for honour's sake. Uh, what did I say about this? It's just you've got some double taps in there. You've got a lot of consistent damage. I think this is a more of an agile list, nimble list. Whereas the Negvars, I think that Negvars have got hard turns, haven't they? That aren't red. Am I right? Or are they all red?
In 2 seconds. Negvars have a white hard too, so
Ooh, so it's going to be quite an interesting. This game is going to be all about manoeuvring because Tristan ain't going to want to go straight head first into Rob S, but at the same time, Tristan has got
all
a few
about the
more.
maneuvering.
Yeah, it's all about
Yep.
the manoeuvring this one.
Tricks with the planets, maybe something.
Yeah,
But if you can get that D7 behind the other ship, it's pretty nasty.
yeah,
So yeah.
It's going to be a good
Yeah.
dogfight.
because as soon as you get a ship behind those Negvars, they're going to find it really hard to deal with that because it's going to be a bit of a blind spot for them. So yeah, Tristan's definitely a list in comparison to the two that requires a bit more finesse to fly. I think he's capable of doing that. But the Negvars have got to watch that rear and not get caught too quickly into a trap. But every list we've seen so far is just going to be a devastating offensive bloodbath, and I think this has got the capacity for that as well to take the biscuit, if you will.
Yeah, a couple other things I want to say. I have not seen Kolos run before, but Tristan, I think, is the first to go with 3 double taps with Kang, or three of those 2 extra crits. So Kang, Mara saves Kang once, and Kolos saves Kang again. So, like you said, that will work particularly well against those ships with high durability that you actually need to hit multiple times with your Kang ability. So that's going to be devastating if he hits him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to say is we've got a 3 versus 3, Dahar versus Dahar, and even though it's Kang, Kor, and Kolo, they're different versions. So animated Kor and animated Koloth and
Yeah.
TOS Kang against the
Yeah, it's all completely
versions.
different
That's
ones,
fun.
yeah.
So that'll be fun. Maybe answer some of these questions about what actually is the best Dahar fleet, because we've got some other options out there that we've already seen. So that'll be fun. Okay. We've got 6 cards left in the pile. Our next battle to reveal is Fish against David W. So great. Two players that I don't think played last time, so that'll be fun. Who wants to talk about Fish and their Zindi Pure?
I'll go for the Dominion list if that's okay. Do you want to take it away then, Haz?
Okie dokie. So you've got a ship you don't see very often, the Zindi Aquatic Cruiser. Surprisingly tough ship. I think they're quite big as well, aren't they, in the actual universe? Because of all that water. Oh, excuse me. Oh, long day. So 4 attack dice, very nice and modest. 180 arc. Turns like a tank, but having a 4 dice at 180 is very tasty. Degra, we've seen before. Yeah, if you're attacking with a secondary weapon, gain +1 attack die. Considering the ships have to be faction pure, you're gonna see some pretty devastating combos with the weapons. So let's scroll right to them. Particle beam weapon. So that's 5 dice straight up. Degra is making that 7. Prototype weapon. This is one more down Jeff's street, really. Go on, Jeff. Explain that, because there's a hell of a lot of text.
That's a nice one. You just draw. You get to place a mission token in your firing arc, and then draw a straight line in any direction from that up to range 2, and try and catch as many ships as possible in that. So there's a different Zindi weapon that fires a straight line from your ship, but this one actually lets you place a token in your firing arc and then catch everyone in a straight line. So that requires some geometry skills to try and snag as many ships as possible, and that's going to be rolling 7 dice again on the first one, like you said, just like particle beam. But then each one after is going to be 6 dice.
We'll look forward to seeing that.
And then to top it off, you've got Trellium D for some defensive gimmicks. Coupling with the Aquatic Chancellor. So 43 points. That's flanked by another Aquatic Cruiser with, oh god, Kiafet Amansor. Action when defending, roll +1 attack die. In addition, if this card is assigned to a Zindi ship, when attacking this round, gain +1 attack die. So +1 attack, +1 defense. Modest ability. Trillium D again for defense. Particle beam weapon for offense. So now he's chucking out 6 dice. Zindi torpedoes, cheap and cheerful. Time tokens as well, so they'll re-enable themselves later. And then, oh god, look at all that text on retaliation. So let's go through this together. When another ship in your fleet is destroyed, discard this card to immediately make an attack with your primary weapon at -1. This attack is in addition to your normal attack for the round. If there is no ship to target with this additional attack, place a mission token on this card instead of discarding it. If you do so, on your next attack, discard this card to gain +3 attack die to that attack. May only purchase for a Zindi captain assigned to a Zindi ship. That's pretty good for 5 points. It's like, yeah, I'm going to get a free extra attack, or I get to bank it and then absolutely hammer you with dice in the following turn. So that's going to hit like a ton of bricks. Loads of attack dice. You've got an insectoid ship, something you don't see very often. Aquatic Counselor. When defending during the modified device step, convert one of your battle stations to evade. Modest, but makes a difference, especially because the ships themselves are quite fragile. But they've got a dial that opens up those options. Sensor echoes. If your ship is destroyed, all friendly ships are in range 1 to 3. Roll +1 defense die. And particle beam weapon for some much needed offense. You know, it's a cheap ship at 19 points. It's and cheerful. Doesn't matter if it gets destroyed, because then you get to trigger your retaliation, or you get to use your sensor echoes and buffer everyone up, and it just keeps those aquatic cruisers going for longer. And then there's another insectoid ship with a generic captain, sensor echoes, and particle beam weapon again. So you got your 2 little flanking support ships, keeping the blind spots of the aquatic cruisers covered. Really, nice bit of synergy, and surprisingly, considering we're not used to Zindi cards, it's a lot of extra dice being chucked in there, and some capitalization on those extra dice with extra attacks, or just more red dice. So, David.
Okay, so David's list, another all Dominion list. So really loving the love for the Dominion in this particular tournament.
Dominion OP.
We'll see. So we start off with the 2nd Division Cruiser, a Jem'Hadar battle cruiser. Typically, you wouldn't associate one of something so big with defense, but actually, David's got the one that allows you to gain an extra defense dice if you've got a Jem'Hadar attack ship within range 1 to 2, and we know he's got 2 in his list, so that should be pulled off most times. Wayoon, allowing him extra crew slots cheaper. Invaluable advice: before rolling your attack or defense dice, you may discard this card to place a battle stations. That's just a one use only card, but it could be crucial for a certain turn. A Mataclan, which allows him to convert any 1 dice to a hit result. A Matagan is a defensive one. Each time you defend, you roll +1 defense dice. And Cloning Facility, which is target a crew upgrade on this ship or a friendly ship at range 1. This card becomes a copy of that upgrade. So he could use it for some crew on his other ships, or he could even use it on his own ship and have a Mataclan again, allowing him to basically convert to 2 hits. or a Matagan to allow him to roll extra defense dice. So he could be rolling a maximum of 4 defense dice on a Jem'Hadar battlecruiser, which is pretty nice. Dukat's Bird of Prey, very powerful. We know what it does. Gold Dukat giving him extra actions, so that thing's going to be just tokened up. Bohica and Breen Aid. So the cloning facility could take Bohica or Breen Aid if it wants to, but I suspect Dukat's going to be flanking or just flying around the board, being a general nuisance. And we have 2 Jem'Hadar attack ships and 2 Vorta commanders, allowing him to take 3 target locks, phase polaron beams. Speaking as someone running them myself, I'm really fond of them, especially if you can beef up those attack dice, which he's doing with the 6th Wing Patrol ship, as long as he's within range 1 of another Jem'Hadar ship. The 2nd Wing Patrol ship allows him 2 extra defense dice, so he's got an attacking Jem'Hadar attack ship and a defensive Jem'Hadar attack ship that, if they fly together, are going to be sort of pretty aggressive, pretty annoying for someone. So yeah, it's a very nice list. It'll look good on the board, and I think it'll do really well.
So that'll be a fun Zindi Dominion battle there to see who really is the strongest. And we're down to just 2 matches left. Shuffle it up one more time. This match is Ellis with our only Romulan Pure Fleet and Derek. He's definitely not a pure fleet.
The amount of pure fleets we've seen has been good. I mean, that's what
Good on the board.
that's what I was hoping was going to happen with the tournament, and I'm aware there was a bit of debate because like you can have ship pure, wasn't it? But and obviously we've got an example of it in Derek's fleet where you got different factions, but it's all ship, different factions.
Right. It is ship pure.
Yeah.
Jeff, did you want to talk about Ellis's fleet? I know you were
Sure.
campaigning for an all Romulan.
Yes, I would love to. Yeah, so for a while there, I wasn't sure we were going to get much of a Romulan presence. We have the little RSV and TJ's fleet, and for a while that was the only Romulan presence at all in the entire field. But thankfully, Ellis has submitted a Romulan fleet here, so that'll be fun. I love the Scimitar. The Scimitar with Laris is going to be pretty nasty. The Scimitar, of course, can stay cloaked after attacking, so if it wants to, it can stay cloaked, basically, which means Laris is always going to be available to do his echo, and thus roll an extra attack die and just get a battle station out of it. So that's going to be great. The Scimitar has an interphase, so not only does it have 7 hull, but it can absorb 1 big attack with interphase, and the aft disruptor emitters to cover its blind spot. So really glad to see a Scimitar. We haven't really seen too many Scimitars in a while, but we could rely on Ellis to submit one, so that's great. The PWB Tomal is a Dideredex, a named Dideredex with the Romulan captain. A bunch of Romulan cards you don't really see very much. Control Central is going to give him a free action at some point with just to disable the card rather than discarding it. The Romulan captain can quash an attack by flipping his token, which is going to be flipped anyway if he's attacking. So more survivability there on a Dideredex that already has 6 hull. So that thing's going to stick around. And so because we have Romulans here, Ellis is the only one in the whole field here who is going to be able to bring Romulan cloak mines. So that'll be nasty. Just about the best use of 3 points you can get in the game. Additional weapons are ready to roll an extra die. Nuclear warhead. I had a lot of fun with this when I had the Galgathong as my booster in the last event. You can take your action to basically drop a minefield token somewhere not in your forward arc and any ship that runs through it, it's basically like running through coke mines. So that one is going to be, if it's well placed, it can be devastating. You can drop it in front of the other fleet because it sits there the whole game. It doesn't get used up. And the third and final ship is the RAS Apnex. It has this funny once per game ability to target all the ships within range 1 and give them damage, 1 damage including itself, and then it can only do 1 maneuvers the rest of the game. So that's a funny one, but I could see it being devastating when you need that 1 more damage done. He's got Muon feedback wave, which can also impact enemy ships a lot, and of course Nankless to shut down a ship's ability to roll defense dice. Ellis is facing Derek, so the Coke chip could just take away all those defense dice from it if he's attacking the Klingon. And Riemann Boarding Party, which is particularly nasty. It's a boarding party card, but unlike ones that often just target crew, this one disables all upgrades on the target ship. So Ellis is definitely going to be messing with the opponent a lot here, and really glad to see this Romulan fleet make it into the field.
The thing I notice about Romulans is they seem to have very obnoxious cards.
You noticed, yep.
Do you want to take the? Did you want to take the 50 points NX class has?
No, you. The Nexus have a special place in your heart. You can have that one.
Okay, so we've got Derek running a. I mean, just give him the trophy now. Honestly, it's cramming 50 points into NX01. It's just fantastic. It's got James Kirk for extra actions, Christopher Pike for extra captain skill, William Riker for extra defense. It's going to be rolling at least 4 defense, but we also have Hikaru Sulu in there as well, giving him an extra 2 to his agility. So 6 defense dice, probably standard. As if that wasn't bad enough, he's got enhanced hull plating on there as well, so he's cancelling potentially 2 damage with giving himself an Orcs. He's got Exocomp on there for regenning his hull, because let's face it, that's all he's got with an NX is just hull. But he has got improved phasers and aft phase cannon, so he's firing out his forward and rear arcs with a decent amount of attack dice at least, and MRS to give him extra tokens. So it's expensive, but it's going to be highly defensive. And they've not got a bad dial, to be fair. The NX, it's got a 2 white come about, so it can get around the board. Not fast, but maneuverable. Very maneuverable. I like it. 50-point NX. Brilliant. We have an aquatic cruiser with Degra and particle beam weapon. So not a lot on there, but doesn't need to be. Degra's adding attack dice. Particle beam weapon is a powerful weapon as it is. Doesn't need to do much. And the Takog with Chang. The Takog obviously is going to be sensor echoing with the 3 template if he wants. So the Takog can move around a lot. So as we're seeing, there's a lot of maneuverability in this list. Advanced weapon system for stopping himself from decloaking. We've got ambush attack, Worf for the conversions, and Grilka, which is presumably why is Grilka?
Trying to make sense of that one myself.
It's just the last point in the fleet.
It's just simply for the sake of it, I'm guessing.
There might be something we're missing, but yes, let's. So, yeah, it's a very maneuverable list. The Takog can go lots of places with that sensor echo. The NX can do a white come about and get behind those Romulan ships. Obviously, we know that the Deredex, it's got a decent dial, to be fair, actually. Yeah, it's got a decent dial actually. It's got the white 3 and white 2 hard turns. But yeah, I didn't see too many rear weapons in Ellis's list. So if the NX gets behind, it could chip away. And maybe the cloaked mines might not be as much of a problem to avoid with a maneuverable list like Derek's. So should be a good matchup.
Expect to just. Is there any way we can get an upside down D7 model that spins on its axis? Because that's what it's going to be doing. It's going to be changing to spin, and it's going to spin naturally because it's got its own ability to spin. Because spin's a cool trick.
It is worth mentioning that the NX-01 has a whole lot of defensive stuff, rolling extra dice and all that stuff, and that's not going to help against cloaked mines or the nuclear warhead. So it's got to stay way far away from those. So it doesn't have a lot of durability to it.
But it is going to welcome the challenge.
Good point. All right. Well, our 8th and final match. For those of you who have done the math, you might already know what the matchup is, and I do. It's actually a rematch between Jeff and Eben.
Oh, you. Okay. I'll take yours then, Jeff.
Okay.
Yes, I shall take Eben.
Jeff's list, as it's displayed on the card, looking quite nice there. Don't anticipate it staying looking that nice for too long. But
Right.
in the meantime, we've got a Borg Queen Vessel Prime with Borg Catherine Janeway, Balana Torres, and Borg multi-adaptive shields. So we're going to have Catherine Janeway. Each time an opposing ship within range 1 to 2 performs a battle station scan or evade, and spend one of the drone tokens and perform the same action. Balana Torres is basically there to allow for the Borg multi-adaptive shields, I believe, which is just an instant cancel of a hit in defense. So it's as if Borg ships weren't tanky enough. Borg multi-adaptive shields that's going to be a hard one to shift. We've got a Type 7 shuttlecraft, which I'm sure is going to be super deadly. With especially with Clark Terrell, who's running around boosting defense of all these ships. We've got Maxwell Forrest, some hidden card under Genesis effect, Emrys, and 7 of 9. It's very possible we might see that shuttlecraft docking onto one or possibly our next ship, which is the Borgified USS Voyager, the one that's chucking out 5 attack dice and a free action of a target lock. We have the Borg Queen on Voyager. So Janeway and the Borg Queen swapping ships for some reason. We have Borg multi-adaptive shields on Voyager as well, making it just extra tanky. And an advanced proton beam. So again, we're talking about going straight through his opponent's shields with that. So Eben, with his Federation fleet, is going to need to be very wary of that advanced proton beam. It is only range 1, but it's 5 attack dice, and it's going to be pretty deadly with that target lock that Voyager's always going to have as well. And of course, Voyager has got a fantastic dial. I think, is that your favourite dial in the game, isn't it, Has?
Yeah, I think it's one of the best dials in the game. From what we've seen today, the Scimitar's probably got the best dial in the game, but yeah, Voyager just great dial. You got no worry of any reds.
With that white 6 forward, the advanced proton beam suddenly becomes much more of a viable option there.
Yes, definitely.
So we've got a very Borgified, pretty much our only Borg representative for this list as well there with Jeff's list. So what's Eben bringing?
Let's load up Eben's list. Where is it? There it is. Let's get the link. Right, Eben. I love it when I get to see a sovereign enterprising on the board. So Eben, I think what was it? Played you in the final, didn't he, Jeff, of Episodic Madness 2022?
Yep.
And
It's a pretty similar fleet.
very similar fleet. So he's built upon what worked for him. So he's got free action Picard, advanced shield. So that's what he had to say last time. He had photons. Don't think he had Chekhov though. Did he had Lejeune or something last time?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
to
he's
get 2
gone.
of those units.
He's gone for more mobility this time than re-enabling. So see use of that primary weapon, and then he's obviously got Will Riker there for the defensive ability. Simple but effective. He knows what he's doing, what he wants to do with that. And obviously Picard given that extra action, so he can still fire the torpedoes every turn if he so desired. The Sao Paulo with Cat and Worf. So again, with the battle stations, it'll be recycling that battle stations over and over for maximum offense. Red Alert, a poor man's battle hardened. If he ever needs to use that battle stations for defense, Red Alert will help him out there. Ablative armor for the crit mitigation and the extra defense. There's a debate out there whether to have like enhanced shields or ablative armor, each to their own. They both provide 2 different things, slightly different things. Phaser cannons for that double tap arsenal to keep enabling those phaser cannons. Type 8 phasers, upgraded phasers for a 5 dice primary. Vorik and Julian Bashir to constantly trigger every turn, just to make the extra defense dice from ablative armor kick in more, and to be a nuisance for his opponent. Again, that's a nice little build. How many points we have? 44 and 49, but the Defiance are very pointy and shoot you build with some good defense in there. And then I think this is probably a perfect way to round this list off. He's just slipped a fighter squadron in there, utilising the capital ship designation of the Enterprise. We know fighter squadrons are very difficult to take down, very awkward to take down, is probably the best way of putting them. And then he's chosen the fighter squadron upgrade card to allow him to do some sensor echoes, which will really help with that positioning and help sneak around the sides of ships' blind spots. He's clearly shown that fleet works. He made it to the final with it, so he can make that fleet work. And he's now had more agency on how it will perform with the fighters. So I think that's a good blend there. And you haven't got any ambassadors to back you up this time, Jeff. You ain't gonna fly them off the board.
No Verderon. I don't have anything.
No. So what is it? Really, the shuttle's not going to be doing out damage, so he's got to focus one ship and take it out on your fleet. But there's going to be probably some personal vendetta going into this, I imagine.
Yep, that's just fine.
Evan's actually going to get to use all of his ships this time.
Yeah, you'd think.
I will enjoy playing in the game.
So there we have it. Let's disable the browser. There we go. And there's
Pretty
all
good
your
matchups
fleets.
there.
Any standout matchups?
Yours, I think, Jed versus Haz. Definitely looking forward to that one.
The DS9s.
Rob S and Tristan, the 2 Klingon fleets going against each other. That's going to be a very strategic game. I'm very looking forward to that one as well. I'm looking forward to all of them though, because each one, I think we were able to come up with some sort of something going for each matchup, isn't there? Whether it's about manoeuvring, whether it's about a certain gimmick that needs to be pulled off.
Yeah, definitely.
They're all, except for mine. Not looking forward to mine.
Really? Yours is going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Absolute bloodbath, that battle. So many ships, so many casualties. Happy days.
Definitely.
But yeah, I'm going to keep my eye out on Jerry's captains of the Enterprise, because I just like seeing that. But ultimately,
lovely constitutions.
What's the trend we're seeing these days? Is the Dominion becoming the top faction, or
Klingons were
Yeah,
clear
the
outright
Dahars-
winners.
I don't know. We'll
I-
see what happens here.
I think Dahars were probably spammed mostly just because of the restrictions and what you get with Klingons and what Dahars can do.
Mhm.
Seem to
And Scott, I'm sure, is happy to be sitting there with his incredible disruptor bombardment, seeing all those Dominion fleets around him. So that one's gonna,
Yeah.
that thing can end ships just like that. So that's gonna be a interesting matchup.
I hope for a Scott versus Haz matchup at some point.
Yes,
it's been a while since
that
we
might be
played.
nice.
Just putting it out there for those that are still watching or catching up with us. Streaming wise, just give us a shout if you want the game streamed. I'm always happy to have the content on the channel, and it just puts it out there for the historical archives and more promotion for the Fremont Reformation. So yeah, if you're looking for a stream, just tap us up, and then we can see if we can get a stream going for you.
Yep, and so people are welcome to schedule and start playing their games. I'll post the matchups on the Purebred channel. But let's get going with round one.
Beautiful.
Good luck, everyone.
Alright, so this has Jeff and Nick, and we'll see you about Justice for the Galaxy class. Peace. Bye.